Stop shading like this. Listen, not everything—
Oh, it's Colleen. Close this video down now, guys. Let's all get out of here. I don't think we're gonna get any useful information anymore. All right, fine, let's give her a chance.
5 minutes later.
2 out of 10, Colleen, you're improving. What's up, nephews? Today I want to take a look at some YouTube Shorts art tutorials. Now, usually the tutorials that I find on YouTube are actually useful, unlike your ex. Come on, bring it in, brother. Come on, I got you. So be sure to open your brain, because I'm sure that as long as Colleen doesn't show up in these recommendations, we'll actually cover some quite valuable information.
We generally tend to think of an artist with perfectionist tendencies as like artists agonizing over details to get them exactly how they want, using a tiny brush to get like blades of grass on a painting, overall just working really meticulously to create like the perfect, detailed, beautiful image. And while I do think this is true in some cases, I would argue that the most common perfectionist is the one that doesn't start anything at all because of the fear of not living up to our idea of perfection.
Oh, I think you literally called out 99% of people who do art. This video hits the nail on the head, and if you feel like it's targeting you, here's some words of unk wisdom from me to you. This type of paralyzing perfectionism is what stops many people from doing great things, and it doesn't just apply to art. I've seen people with my own eyes who want to do a thing, but they just never really get started on it because they feel like they can't get it right on the first go. But no one ever gets anything right on the first try, and that's okay. When it comes to my art, I've adopted this mindset that any piece that I'm sitting down to make probably isn't going to look anything like the image that I have in my head. It's going to turn out different. It might not be what I imagine, but as long as I get started on it, that's okay. Now imagine if that wasn't about art, applying that to everything else in your life. 12 out of 10.
Stop shading like this. Listen, not everything—
Oh, it's Colleen. Close this video down now, guys. Let's all get out of here. I don't think we're gonna get any useful information anymore. All right, fine, let's give her a chance.
It's black and white. Otherwise, it's gonna end up looking flat. We get it. You never learn how to regulate your emotions. You have to find the perfect balance. It's not about doing more. It's about doing just enough or not.
I don't really get what the perfect balance is that she's referring to, but I think maybe she's trying to talk about like grays. But I mean, like, you could have used a better example to show it. And also, Colleen, where the hell is my drawing? If you guys missed this, she posted a video a while ago talking about how she's gonna draw the top comment on that video, and I just so happened to be the top comment, and here's what I requested. Where is this? Come on now, let's chop, huh? Let's get on this. Time's running out. I want to see it. 2 out of 10, Colleen, you're improving. Beginner mistake. Head. What do you mean by that? Okay, that looks like a pretty good head to me. I don't know why you crossed that out. Okay, so now we're drawing a circle. We're cutting the side of the circle. We're drawing a cross on the front of the face and then drawing a wedge shape for the front of the face. Yeah, I mean, this all looks good, but this is like the exact same thing that you just did though. But what? What? Hold on. Am I tripping or is this not the same? Look at this head. Look at this head. That's the same thing, brother. What's going on? Do this, X. Do the same thing, but better. Check. Do with pen, X. Do with pencil. Check. Wow, that looks amazing. Wow, that looks amazing. Wow, that's good. Wow, that's good, but in pencil. That's good. 1 out of 10.
How did Renaissance apprentices learn to draw faces? As an apprentice in a workshop, they'd be given model drawings to copy. But in seeing the process in action and watching their master draw, they would learn where to start and how to apply the master's methodology and approach. Leonardo wrote that theory should also underpin one's skill in drawing. One should understand the structure and intrinsic design of the outer shape of the head. How did Renaissance apprentices learn to draw faces?
What the hell? Brother, why would you leave me on the cliffhanger? Oh, you fool. It was getting so good too, just as you were talking about theory. Cliffhanger aside, I think this is great, and this is something we can actually apply to our own drawing because you're talking about modeling your art after the work of a master and learning about the process of a master and also understanding the foundational structure of the subject that you're drawing. These are all great tips, but you're gonna get a 5 out of 10 for leaving me on a cliffhanger.
Cross-hatching like this doesn't have to be hard. It all starts with this. The crucial part to classical cross-hatching is always crossing your hatches at a 45-degree angle or less. Aim to create these beautiful little diamonds in the negative space between the lines. You should almost always avoid 90-degree cross-hatching because it flattens the form a lot.
That is a crazy drawing, bro, and a great piece of advice. Hats off to you, 10 out of 10. Don't versus do for lips. Ooh, okay. Not enough blending and colors, not enough layers. Harsh lip lines. Oh yeah, I hate this one. Do, press lightly to build layers. Use multiple colors and blend with skin tones. Create dimension with shadows. Absolutely. Build layers slowly. Wow, okay, look at that. Leave space for highlights. Details with sharp pencil. Jesus. All right, so normally I'm not a big fan of these X's and checks tutorials because they tend to make things too black and white, but I think this one is actually really good. This is for colored pencils, yes, but you could also apply some of these tips for digital as well, like maybe shifting your hues so that your color's not too flat, adding a little bit more contrast in the ambient occlusion in the opening of the mouth, a wider range of colors, a wider range of values. 10 out of 10.
I'm Mark. I used to be a senior artist on Overwatch, and now I run a digital art school. And these are the absolute best exercises that you can practice with if you're trying to draw better from imagination. In terms of difficulty, drawing simple boxes and cylinders in perspective should be the easiest. But the exercise is really to draw these volumes as they rotate in space. From there, you should then practice how to deform those shapes, twisting them and bending them. But the most difficult exercise, and one you should conquer if you ever hope to draw anything from imagination, will be to slice, cut, and bevel those shapes. If you can do it, drawing anything from imagination should now be within your reach.
That's a fantastic exercise, and I think if you're trying to draw things from imagination, being able to do this is pretty much essential. Now, something else to add on to this is you also have to understand your subject. Once you understand the shapes of the human anatomy, you can then use these shapes to create things from imagination.
A common mistake artists make when drawing the glutes is making them too wide. First, let's look at the bones.
Man, what you talking about? Ain't no such thing as a glute too wide, my brother. Expand that thing. If one cheek doesn't take up an entire airplane seat, I don't want to see it. 1 out of 10. Okay, let's hear him out.
The hips are made up of the pelvis and femur. The widest point of the hips is the greater trochanter, which is this bump on the femur. Now, the gluteus maximus is a muscle that originates from the backside of the pelvis and attaches to the side of the femur. The majority of its volume is in the back, not at the sides. So when you look at it from above, you get an inwards pointing angle, which shows that the greater trochanter is still wider. To fix the mistake, start by marking where you want the pelvis and femur to be, and then place the gluteus maximus, making sure that it's not wider than the greater trochanter.
All right, I see what he's getting at with the anatomy. 7 out of 10. Look, every butt is built different, and I've seen both. You know, in fact, I've seen many. I've seen too much.
If you're struggling with drawing anatomy in perspective, then this exercise will help you. And bonus
Hey, yo! This guy's turning his goon sessions into references. I mean, credit to you, that's a pretty big brain move, but...
First, you need to get a good references, so you can get either some 3D models or just some reference photos. So pick up the reference with the front view, then put it on the side and just start drawing. After you finish, rotate the reference to the side a little bit, and then we want to draw it again. So we want to repeat that and draw the reference from different angles, starting from the front view, going to a 3/4 view, and then to the side view. But after that, we want to angle the body part up and also rotate it to the sides and draw it again. Now do the same, but this time angle it down, and if you want you can do more angles.
Very easy to follow. If you guys don't know where to find 3D models, go to this site called Sketchfab. I like this exercise because it really helps you understand how things are supposed to look from different angles, and it makes you again more comfortable drawing things from imagination in the future. 8 out of 10.
Here's an art tip. Life will be so much easier if you-
Cool. I just watched one of your videos. All right, get off of my page. Beginner mistake. Hero, villain. Okay, what's the mistake here? I don't know, that looks pretty good to me. What's going on? Okay, you want 2 balls? Well, I'm so confused. What's going on? So the villain is buff. You're giving the hero anime eyes. Now the villain has big eyebrows. Oh God. I hated that. I hated every second of that. I don't know, guys. I feel like this is a case of just overworking something, because the one that we were told not to do actually has more character than the one we were told to do. Now, in this example, the hero has rounder, friendlier features. The villain has sharper, less friendly features. And that's actually one of the staples of good character design, is you're using different shapes to convey a different feeling that you get when you view the character. And I feel like the final pieces we're supposed to do just look like 2 generic characters that don't really have much personality. Either of them could be the villain.
My sketches used to look something like this. There's actually a problem with this sketch. Humans are fantastic at perceiving patterns and organizing visual information, even when that information is incomplete. So take a look at these images. Even when there are only disparate elements, the human eye tends to perceive it as a whole, united form instead. This is known as the Gestalt principles of visual perception. See, when we're looking at a messy sketch, we generally don't perceive each individual stroke. The strokes come together to imply a larger form, even if some of the lines are missing. missing. Unfortunately, once I started doing line art, I was forced to actually start nailing down these implied forms, which meant I had to understand them fully to draw them. And at this point, any gaps there were in my knowledge started to make themselves very apparent. So how do you prevent this? One way of doing it is that I started making my sketch much neater. And also, I made sure to keep the lines a similar width to the line art. This way, you can do more of the problem solving during the sketch phase.
Very good advice. Now, I think it's always in your best interest to try to keep your sketches as clean as possible and not to overdo it with the chicken scratching. But that being said, you should also be patient with yourself because getting clean lines and neat sketches is something that's going to take a little bit of time and a little bit of practice. The more reps you get in, the easier this becomes. 10 out of 10. Learned anatomy to draw cool poses, forgot I needed perspective to... Holy, why are they so pointy? What in the world? Oh God. All right, about the chest. I was using a reference for this pose and the reference they were drawn similarly. Usually with things like that, I try to downscale it for obvious reasons and try to make it more realistic, but this time I was so focused on getting the pose right that I didn't think about it, and that's my mistake. I'm very sorry if it offended anyone. That was never my intentions. It just happened because I'm an idiot plus lack of skill. Hey, hold on, wait a minute. Look, man, I only wanted to point this out, not because I was offended, but because I thought this would be a pretty sharp piece of humor that would be pretty peak. That being said, though, don't apologize for your art. And this goes to all of you guys as well, okay? Make art for yourself. Do it the way you like to do it. You're not a multi-billion-dollar corporation. You don't need to answer to your shareholders. Nobody owns you, and you shouldn't try to appease people who are offended by your art. Guess what? There's people out there who are offended by my art. And those are probably the same people who won't even be able to have fun when you place them in the most fun setting possible. Draw for yourself, create for yourself, do it how you like to do it. If people don't like seeing what you have to offer, they don't have to follow you. Take your damn apology back and own your art, okay? This is a great drawing. You're on the right track. 7 out of 10. Make art for yourself. Make art the way you like to make it. Your art is your art and no one should get to tell you what to do, okay? You don't have shareholders. Anyways, guys, hopefully you learned something new from this video, and if you didn't and you just had your brain off the whole time, well, I hope you enjoyed yourself. Subscribe to my channel to see more art-related content and check out my Patreon for monthly tutorials. In this month's tutorial, I'm going to be talking about compositions. So if you're ever the type to just stare at a blank canvas and just think to yourself, boy, I do not know where to start, this is the tutorial for you. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching to the end, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye. Go on now, get. Shoo.